You know, when you don't get the learn shares, you be tight. K Dot, what's up, my guy?
What's happening? What's going on with y'all?
Oh man, we good, man.
Hey,
Everybody's doing
hey,
good. Let me
everybody
show
doing
the
good?
world what's going on. So we locked in here. We got some of the team here. This is primarily the acquisition side of the team, so I thought it was great that we were able to get them both on as well. We are live streaming all over the locations. So shout out to everybody that's following us. And if you're not, we'll start this off right. Please make sure you are following my guy K Dot, as I call him, because in my mind he reminds me of Kendrick Lamar. Like what Kendrick Lamar has done to the rap game is what Kendall is out here doing in this investor wholesaler space, and it's amazing. So make sure you follow him. I'll scroll his info down at the bottom. But this is episode 3, right? We consistent, and I think that's one of the main points that need to be made in learning how to deal and work with hedge funds is consistency. It's one of the first lessons Kendall taught me in how this game is played and how you win at this game. There's a lot of people who are right now telling you, oh, I tried that, or oh, it don't work, or they stopped doing this, or they stopped doing that. And all of what they're saying is true because they stopped being consistent, right? When Kay hit me up and we started chatting, I want to say like 2 3 weeks ago. Um, you know what I mean? He was like, "Yeah, I just closed the deal on Friday with a hedge fund, right?" So I believe in systems, right? I don't believe in goals. I believe in systems. And when somebody can show you what they're doing on a systematical basis and it's yielding results, I try not to pay attention to what anybody else is talking about, right? So, nonetheless, Kate, I want to open up the floor to you, my guy. Let you take it away, break it down to the group, and of course, my bad, I totally forgot to introduce the team. I feel like at this point they'll need no introduction, but we will make sure we put some respect on their name. We got Killer Ashley, fresh out of prison. She plays no games. She's our acquisition manager on the team, man. She murders it. She's on the phone. She's constantly building relationships, connecting with people, and getting the job done. And I got Stacy, who is the person that, I mean, honestly speaking, if we ever in a room and people are there and Stacy is there, you got to show mad love to Stacy first, right? Because Stacy is the head of acquisitions when it comes to all JV deals. So if you ever sent me a deal, Stacy probably saw it first. Now, why am I saying that's important? That's because some of you knuckleheads had sent me trash, and Stacy had to deal with you. So make sure you know what I mean, show love to Stacy. She knows everything that's going on, and she is jumping in head first um, on this hedge fund side and working and dealing with the hedge fund. So that's the team. I don't need no introduction. Let's go. Let's work. Let's work, man.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, y'all. So, like Eddie said, we on session number 3. Keeping it going, keeping it consistent, right? This is the game. When you're talking about working with hedge funds, I talk about this in my master class because I like to not only give the good, I like to give the struggles that you're going to come across. One of the main struggles when it comes to wholesaling and hedge funds is just getting in contact, that initial contact to start building that relationship, right? That's going to be your biggest challenge starting off, right? So as long as you are consistent with your output and your seed and the seeds that you're dropping, and you're consistently making them calls when they tell you they're gonna follow up, you don't wait for them, you follow up again yourself, right? If you consistently do those things, then eventually you're gonna get in contact. And remember, the beautiful thing about wholesaling and hedge funds is you really only need like 1 or 2 of them things. You know what I'm saying? I prefer a healthy amount of hedge funds to start with is to shoot to get 2 or 3 hedge funds. You don't want to just be with one because then you're susceptible to only, working with one person and what they're doing. But 2 to 3 hedge funds, that's the ultimate goal. And sitting right there and building that relationship and that rapport. And the best way to build relationships with the hedge funds is to do what? Bring them good deals. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people talk about, okay, you gotta, connect with them. You have to have the conversations, build the rapport, etc. But rapport with a hedge fund and an acquisition specialist, specifically through the hedge fund, rapport is good communication, doing good business, and overall things, bringing them deals that you can actually close. Right? When you work with a new hedge fund, once you do 2 or 3 deals, you lock it. Right? At the end of the day, you're good to go. Right? At that point, and you start sending them consistent flow, they're going to answer your emails, they're going to get with you, they're going to make offers on a regular basis, right? So consistency isn't just about making sure that you are sticking to reaching out to the hedge funds to actually communicate, but consistency also is providing them with inventory on a consistent basis. You can't just send them a deal January 13th and then don't send them nothing again until February 28th. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can, but just don't expect for them to be super tuned into your emails and when you try to communicate with them, right?
So let me ask you about that, right? So like, what if I don't have a deal, right? How do I still make sure I'm connecting with, the hedge fund relationship I've built?
Yeah. So if you don't have a deal, what I highly suggest is when you make that initial call to the hedge fund and you have that buy box, the first thing I'm gonna do, like, all right, so for instance, let me just back up a little bit. If you haven't done a hedge fund deal, or if you haven't done a deal, period, the same rules apply. The quickest way to your first deal is to JV. It really is. You know what I'm saying? When you're going through, for those of us who've been in this business for a while, we understand this ebbs and flows, it's ups and downs, right? So you might go on a stretch 6 months in a row, you 5, 7 deals a month. Then you might go on a stretch where you might be getting, 1, 2, 3 deals a month sometimes, right? More so that happens when you're a part of and you're dealing with live market changes as you're going through the business, right? So for us, and this is just being super transparent, one of the shifts that we had to deal with when the market was changing for the past, let's say, 6 months, our volume didn't change, but our spreads changed, which is they cut in half. We was going from a $15,500 per deal average down to an $8,700 per deal average. That's cut in half.
Yeah.
Volume didn't change at all. We were still getting the same amount of contracts, same everything, right? But that profit spreads went down, right? So having to adjust in the market in real time is one of those things where it can be very challenging. And that wasn't just me. I spoke to a lot of my associates. This was going on across the board. Of course, you're going to pop off them 30, 40, 50K deals, 60K deals, every now and then. But for the most part, a lot of people were getting hit on their spreads for the deals that they were actually moving. So what I always like to say in my 7 years in the game, the best way to bounce back or to get your revenue or get your volume back up is JVing. It's the easiest way, right? So in JVing the right way, you want to make sure that you JVing with somebody who knows what they're doing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ideally, to do the JV, you want to have something that other person doesn't have. That's what the joint venture is all about. 2 people who can get sellers are not good JV partners because you don't need both people to get sellers. You need somebody that can bring a buyer to the table, right? Or 2 people who we got all the buyers in the city. It does you no good if you ain't got no deals to sell all the buyers. So you want to make sure you're creating strategic partnerships with people that actually fill the hole that you have. You feel what I'm saying? That can pick up where you lack at. Right? So when we're talking about hedge funds specifically, this is where the benefit comes in. So everybody doesn't know about hedge funds, how to wholesale the hedge funds. This is not a industry-wide known thing like it is when it comes to getting cash buyers. You go on PropStream, pull a cash buyers list last 12 months, you call them, text them, see what they're buying, etc. That's standard practice in wholesaling, right? But when it comes to the hedge funds, you actually have an upper hand because everybody can't, nor do they know how to connect, get in touch, and work with the hedge fund, right? So when you're talking about JV deals, the first thing you want to do is to get on the phone, get you a hedge fund. You don't even have to get 2 or 3 first. Get one. Get a buy box. And then when you get that buy box, now you're in search of all week deals that meet the criteria for that particular hedge fund. So let me paint the picture for you. It's Friday today, right? Let's say all week this week, you working on trying to contact, get in touch with a fund, and you get somebody on the line. Boom, I got a hedge fund. Boom, I got a buy box Friday. When Monday rolls around, all I'm doing Monday through Friday is I'm scouring Facebook. I'm scouring for sale by owners. I'm all over the internet looking for any type of deal that just meets the criteria first. Forget the numbers. I'm just looking for something that meets the criteria, right? Because a lot of times, wholesalers, sometimes we get deals that's too high. We need to go back and renegotiate. That's part of the game, right? So I'm not really focused on what you're asking. I'm focused on, does this specs, the bass square footage area, meet the buy box of my particular hedge fund? And if it does, then I'm making you an offer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making an offer specifically to JV. See, all right, we get into a whole nother thing now, like, which is, this is good because I actually didn't go over this in the course, but in the course, we're obviously going to be adding on as time goes.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a section in the course where I discussed joint venturing specifically with hedge funds because you do it different. Why? You have to protect your relationship. Okay, so when you're JVing with hedge funds,
hold on. What does that mean? Protect my relationship.
Right. Okay, cool. So you got to protect your relationship. So what I mean by protecting your relationship is you can't just do a JV and be like, okay, let's paint the picture. You got seller and the wholesaler. Wholesaler has it under contract with the actual seller, right?
Right.
Normally on a JV, you might do a JV agreement with the actual wholesaler, and then you do a contract between your buyer and the wholesaler, right? So
right.
that the paperwork is lined up the way it needs to be lined up, and then you close on that deal.
Yeah.
Right? And then you split that 50, 50, 64, whatever it is, agreement that you have with that wholesaler, right? Now, the dangerous part of this is now that wholesaler has your buyer. Right? Off top, they have your buyer because they have the HUD, they have the contracts, they're signing the paperwork. You feel what I'm saying? So they have everything, all the information about your buyer. Protecting yourself, there's a different way that you do it when it's come to hedge funds. When it comes to hedge funds and joint ventures, here's the setup of the paperwork. The setup is you got a seller and you got a wholesaler. Wholesaler is under contract with that seller. That's the A to B. A to B part of the transaction. When you're wholesaling and you're joint venturing and you have a hedge fund, what that wholesaler does is they assign that deal to you as your company, right?
Okay.
So you're the one that's actually going to, in quotes, close on the deal,
right?
So you got an A to B. The wholesaler is going to assign that contract to you as the end buyer. Then what you're going to do is you're going to double close on that deal with the hedge fund.
Gotcha.
So now you're in control of the paperwork on your side of the transaction. In order to do this, you have to ensure that the title company you're working with allows pass-through funding.
Okay.
So allow that to be assigned to you so that you can then double close. So what that does is that protects your B2C side of the transaction that the wholesaler is not a part of.
Gotcha.
The wholesaler is not on that B2C paperwork at all because you already got them out the way on the A to B side.
So let me tell you why I love what you're saying, right? And this is probably what I love the most about your course and what you got going on, man. It's like, it's simple, right? Like you're explaining this and I'm understanding, okay, that makes sense. I should be in control to protect the relationship that I have with my, the hedge fund buyer, and also to have control on the deal. Because I've done plenty of wholesale deals before where the other person's like, yeah, I got it this time and third. And then my buyer comes in, we're ready to move. And then the seller is telling them X, Y, and Z, and now they're like, oh, well, I don't have the deal. It's like, no, I thought you had this deal, right? Like I thought we were good to go. And so I fully understand now it's important to be able to have the control, because I need to put a buffer between if the wholesaler drops the bag on this deal and my hedge fund buyer, so that my hedge fund buyer isn't looking at me crazy thinking that's how I run my shop.
Exactly. You have to maintain control, bro. Like it's very few instances where I will relinquish control on a deal, right? Number one, I gotta trust who I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta know the wholesaler. My man asked me this one time. There was a time, this might have been 2019, 2020, maybe early 2021. He was having a lot of issues with his joint venture deals, right? And he asked me, he said, okay, how do you, because I don't never see you having problems with your JVs. He's like, yo, how do you avoid problems with your joint venture deals, right? And it's a couple principles that I stand on with my JVs. Number one, I don't JV with anybody. First things first, right? I do not JV with anybody who has a deal. Why? Because first off, you got to have some level of character. There has to be some level of code, for lack of a better word, that you stand on for me to work with you, because we all know when you're dealing with a deal, things can go left, things can go right, backwards, whichever way. You got to be able to trust that the person you're working with knows how to handle situations, but will handle them ethically as well. That's number one. Number two, you got to know something about the business if we're going to bust down 50-50. Now, if we're not going to do it 50-50, we can create a different structure, and then I'll come in and handle certain things with the seller, right, to make sure that certain things get done the right way, deal with the attorneys, et cetera, et cetera. So they have to know a base level of how to have those conversations with the seller and be able to handle the A to B side. I only want to focus on bringing the buyer. I need you to focus on the seller issues, right? Okay. And then the third thing is that, like, outside of those two things, the third thing that I look for when I'm looking for somebody to JV with is that they actually have control of the deal. I need to see the paperwork. What's your LLC? I need to see that on the contract with the seller. You feel what I'm saying? I need to see it. And then the last thing is, what's the price of the deal? If you can't share with me what you got it for, then it's not the JV I want to do. Period. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how we decide to split the funds, 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, it don't matter. But I do need to know what you got it for in the contract. Because if I don't know that, then how do I know how I can leverage with my buyer? You see what I'm saying? There's too much in between conversation you got to go through if you don't know that information. So those are really the four base things that I look for before I do a JV with anybody, right? Okay. So, and all of this is very important when it comes to protecting yourself, because as you guys see, as you're going through the course, you work hard to get your hedge fund relationship. Like, it ain't just like, you know what I'm saying, that you just get them just to get, like, you're making calls, you're going through a lot of stuff just to get in contact. And you put in the work, the week's worth of work, sometimes months. I know a guy, man, forget a guy. I know a hedge fund that I was looking for a year and a half. One fund, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, I'm still doing deals and stuff, but I kept seeing this address everywhere. And I'm like, yo, who the hell is this? I was looking for them for literally a year and a half. Finally found them. You know what I'm saying? And guess who that hedge fund was? That was Amherst, Main Street. Which we literally just found them live on the damn webinar masterclass last Tuesday. Literally found them right there on the masterclass. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a year and a half. What you gonna say?
Right before we hopped on here, I was telling Stacey, I was like, Amherst is everywhere. Every search I've done, that 5001
Austin, Texas.
Yes. I'm like, they're everywhere. I was gonna ask you today, are they worth like tackling? So crazy you said that.
Most definitely they worth it. Most definitely they worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's a good fund. They have a system. Every now and then you got some ups and downs with how with their communication style and stuff like that. But honestly, there's not much that you can do about that because it's such a big fund. Like, sometimes it's just a lot of volume involved. You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely a fund that I will look at. Connected with and sending deals, right? And then even I think on their website, you could just submit the damn deal. You don't even got to talk to them. You just get the deal on the contract, just submit it. That's
how you know you're buying a lot. Like, no, like, I don't even know your name right now. Just send me what you got. I'll hit you back.
You know what I'm saying? But that's your in. Like, that's why I was saying, having inventory or having something to offer is one of the easiest ways to get in the door. Because then you could just say, yo, here. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't want it, even if the numbers don't work, they made an offer which gets you the contact. And that's the whole goal. I want the contact. Yeah, that's the whole goal.
Yeah, when you're submitting on the website like that, like you go directly through that, you will get a response back, and that can be your point of contact. So from that point on, do you just email that emailed you back other deals, or do you go back to the?
So normally what I do is once I get a contact, I don't submit on the website anymore once I get a contact. But let's just say that the email that responds to you isn't necessarily the acquisition person you need to be talking to, right? Once you submitted that deal and they respond back, my next part of that conversation is, hey, thanks for the response, thanks for the offer. If it works, perfect, because then you can start going down the line of the company. You get in touch with the acquisitions, the transactions, like everybody within the company. That's perfect. But if it doesn't work, my next step is, okay, great. Hey, I have a couple more that are on the way. that are some pocket listings. I like to say pocket listings, right? Because when you say pocket listing, first off, it's triggering because it's like, oh damn, you're gonna listen on the MLS and I can see it before. Okay, great, right? I would love to take a look at that.
Yep.
But also, it keeps you safe in a sense of if you're doing a joint venture, right? If you're doing a JV, you know, pocket listing, JV, it's not the same, but that language is basically telling them I have something that I might not necessarily particularly have under contract direct. Like a pocket listing, you might not have under contract. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there's somebody who, like an agent might reach out to you and say, hey, I just want to see if you like this before I list it on the market. You're not going to go under contract on a pocket listing, so they know that. That's why I use certain language when I'm speaking to them in certain terms to get them to understand. But at that point, I would say, hey, I got a couple more coming up. Who can I reach out to be able to send these to? Like, let's say it's Friday. Who can I reach out to send these deals to? I have them coming in next week, right? And then because you sent them something, they might respond back and say, you can send it here, or you can reach out to such and such, right?
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's get to a couple questions and stuff from what you guys have done over the past few days. Have you made any contacts, had any progress? If so, where are you at within your progress? Let's see where you're at in the stage of some of your communications.
So we did reach out to a couple of hedge funds. So that's partly the questions that we had, which you're just speaking about now, because we're talking to people, but we don't know who we're talking to. Or people will say stuff, and then I even had somebody who got into conversation with me. I actually did send the address. This was mine, MYND.
Oh, Min. Okay, yeah. I know, yeah. Yeah,
so
we know, man. Okay.
Yeah, so I sent them something because I actually just got in contact with somebody, even though I initially asked for acquisitions. But the next day, I got in a conversation with somebody, but I wound up not knowing who I was talking to. But I did let them know I had a house available. So I gave him the address, and he's like, oh, great. He did start asking me questions about it. I think just some minor questions. And then after that, he said, I want to set an appointment to speak with you the next day regarding the property, which was yesterday, but I didn't get the call. So I just waited throughout the day to see if that call would come. It never came.
Pause right there. Don't forget what you're saying. Just pause.
Yes.
This is very, very key. This is perfect. Okay. First off, Mint is a hedge fund. We have them also. So you have a fund. First off. Second thing, once you get to that point of, hey, I want to set up a call with you for tomorrow. Tell me when he said that. What happened next? You gave him your information. Like, what happened next right then?
So he asked, he actually did. He asked for my phone number. So he just asked for the number. He asked, how could I reach you? I gave him actually my phone number in my business email. So I told him I didn't reach you. So yeah. So
this is something my pops taught me when I was younger. It's a line he said, I've never forgotten it. You can't count your money in somebody else's pocket. Mm-hmm. Right? So what does that mean? I gave you my number, but now I'm dependent upon you reaching out to me. Yo, what's your number? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get your, like, yo, you go out, you meet a dude, right? And, you trying to holler at him. You like, hey, he's like, and let's say you meet him. He's like, yeah, give me your number, right? But let's say you really feeling him. If you're really feeling him, you're going to be like, here you go, but what's your number too, though?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Like, yo, I really want to get in contact with you. So I'm going to give you my number, but what's your number too? So I can reach out to you. Just in case you forget about me. I know you're busy.
And trust me, this morning I talked to Ashley and I'm like, why didn't I get his number? So that already went through my head. So I was calling Ashley. I'm like, Ashley, can you call him real quick and just see? Because I was doing something. So I was like, can you just call him real quick and see if there's a way to reach this guy? Because I don't even know how I have no idea how I got in contact with him. So you're right. I did notate that. I should have gotten their number because they did not reach back out.
Yeah, that's the next step. And then, sometimes some of them will have a number on their email signatures and stuff like that. You can kind of try to sift through, right? But if they said that they want to set an appointment with you to discuss details on the property, correct?
Yes.
Okay. My next question is, when you sent them the property, what did you send them? Just the address, just the Like what did you specifically say?
We were on the phone, so it was the address only.
Ah, okay. So you were on the phone when you were discussing it. Okay, great. So the next step to this, right? During that phone conversation, so this is for your next time. So during that phone conversation, yeah, I got something. What's the address? Here's the address. Okay, great. Hey, what's your direct contact number and your and the email that you want me to send the details to? Because I can send you over a breakdown of all the details regarding the product. Right, that's a way to just kind of get in. Like, hey, let me get your email. What's the best email? Now, you probably already got the best email because we're emailing you back and forth. But I say, what's the best email and your phone number? I kind of throw the phone number in there after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to put together a profile, right? Now, hedge funds don't necessarily work a lot through phone communication. That's another thing to understand as well. Hedge funds are all email. For the most part, like you ain't gonna do a text blast deal to a hedge fund. They're not gonna respond, right? You're not gonna be like some people you can call and be like, hey, I just wanted to see what you thought about this deal, right? You can do that, but they're so busy underwriting deals. I wouldn't do that all the time. Right now, if you sent them an email, 2 days went by, you didn't hear nothing, then I'm picking up the phone like, hey, what's going on? After I sent a couple emails, but they're probably not even gonna pick up, right? Heavily email based is how they work. So still you want to get his phone number because a lot of them do have a direct line. They'll give it to you, but don't be flustered if they don't pick up because you know what I'm saying. But you definitely want to still get it. So what I would do is send them another email today and be like, hey, here are the details of that property we spoke about the other day. Wanted to see if you guys might want to put an offer on, right? So boom, and then once you do that, then you just kind of see. Now, in the meantime, what I would be trying to do with that same fund is going through and trying to get another contact. Because here's the thing, all acquisition specialists within a hedge fund are not created equal. Meaning, some are better with communication, they move quicker, some is more hungry than others. Right, same way as in any other organization. I've had a hedge fund where I literally was sending a deal to one of the reps, she would never respond. I went through and found another rep. I said, yo, you ain't got nobody else I can send, like, you know what I'm saying? And I found another rep. That rep, they responded quick, right? But here's the funny thing. As soon as that rep stopped responding, then I went back to the old rep and started sending them this. Sometimes they get comfortable, right? And they're very lax with their communication, right? So you got to make sure that you are sometimes, and I do this with closing attorneys as well, sometimes when you show somebody too much love, they get complacent.
Yeah.
Right? So, for instance, I'm a very, loyal guy when it comes to, yo, when I find an attorney I rock with, I want to rock with you, right? But what happens is that when I'm sending you 2-3 contracts a week, and now your communication is falling off, I'm feeling like, yo, you getting all my deals for this market. But I can't get you see what I'm saying? Like, you started off great. Same thing. It starts off great. We dating, we boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But soon as you feeling like I got her, you start to fall off a little bit. Or I got her, she in the bag. You start to fall off a little bit. Same thing in business. It's a lot of correlations to relationships in business. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to show somebody, look, you're not getting everything. Sometimes you got to stall them out a little bit. I got attorneys where I'll stop sending them contracts for a few months. They'll be, hey, just seeing, how everything's going. Oh, no, I'm good. Here goes one right here. I might give you one. Just to see. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how you act. Right? But that's definitely some stuff to kind of take into consideration. So what else have y'all got that came up? That's good. That's good work too as well.
Can I just ask another question about when we email them?
Yes.
So we were emailing some people. Is it the emailing? Sorry, I actually forgot that quick.
You good?
I'll go back to you. I forgot that quick.
I have one while you think of that one. We talked a little bit about invitation homes last time and going through the agents. I did go back, find some previously purchased homes, and I found 2 different agents.
Okay.
How would you tackle that conversation? Stacy actually got in contact with both, I believe, and they both did they tell you that they are supplied, or what did they tell you?
So I talked to one, you're talking about the realtor, agents. Yeah, I talked to one agent. Well, they thought I was spam because I did email them first, and they just said unsubscribe me, and I said I'm a real person. So then I got them to speak a little bit, but after that, they just said no. What I did is I asked, are they interested in any properties that we have available for them? You know, because I heard you're in close relationship with, is it Innovation?
Invitation Home?
Invitation Home. So I let them know, you know, I had some understanding of who they were. Anyway, they responded with, no, we don't need anything right now, but we'll get in contact with you if we are looking for any homes. So that was the response.
Yeah, that's just a friendly curve.
That's code for I'm washing my hair on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a friendly curve. Okay, so. Okay.
So while right before you give your, because I know other people who are following along, other people that's in the Facebook group, for example, and people that have just been tuning in from what we've been dropping on YouTube, right? I know they're running into the same kind of like stone wall that's happening. And I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's what Kendall's for. I'm going to tell you the mindset why that's happening, right? Like, understand hedge funds operate on a very strict data basis. That's when we move. That's why we move. And if there's no data involved, we're not doing anything, right? Right now, the data isn't saying that they should even be entertaining new business. If they have like old relationships, like with Kendall, then they just keep that moving forward. But a brand new business, there's no point of even starting what could be valuable, right? Stacy could have said, hey, I got 50 properties. I got 100 properties. I don't want to give them to anywhere else other than to you guys. And they still would turn it down because they're not in the phase where they're opening the doors for that. The crazy thing about it is, as much as they will stonewall you now, let's say next week they get the email that says, hey, our fund is full, we are ready, and the market is ready, go. They would be like, just open doors, like, oh, hey, I'm looking for, they'll mess around and call you by accident and be like, hey, you know, we're also doing X, Y, and Z. So it's a crazy mind shift because you'd be like, well, damn, like, why did y'all make me work so hard 2 weeks ago? And then now it's because they're ready, right? And everything trickles down through from the top to the bottom. So don't get discouraged. Just to understand that's how this game is played, right? It's part of the game. So Kendall's going to tell you what to do. I just want you guys to be able to have the mindset so that you don't let that beat you up, because they will. And trust me, they're good at stonewalling. Like,
oh no, they're excellent.
Top shelf. Top shelf. Like, how'd you get so good? Like that's how good they are.
And then you gotta think who you talking to. They just work for the company. They ain't got no power. They gotta do whatever they said. That this is the rule. This is what we do.
Yep.
So like the relationship is different. When we say relationship with the fund, it's a different kind of relationship. Like, you know, your relationship with a regular cash buyer, like you can build a real relationship, right? Like, hey, you might hit them up on a random, let's go out and have some drinks, you know what I'm saying? Like, or, hey, what you think about this? Like, you can really build off that. With a hedge fund, like, when I say relationship, I just mean it's a mutual exchange of value. That's all I mean. You know what I'm saying? Basically, for as long as you're bringing deals, that's as long as we cool. All right, so I've been watching Narcos lately, right? I get a lot of business principles from Narcos. I just connect with it from my history. So I'm watching Narcos again. You know, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to look at it, you know, how I want to structure some different things in my organization. So I go to Narcos, crazy, right? I don't go to YouTube, I go to Narcos. I'm watching Narcos, right? And it's a funny part in this in season 2 with Escobar. And Escobar ran out of, so Escobar asks his man, Ricardo, he's like, yo, how many soldiers do you think we can get to go to war? Right? So Ricardo is like, I could probably rack up about 100, but it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Then Pablo asked the accountant, yo, how much money do we got? He like, man, our last shipment didn't come in from Miami. You know what I'm saying? The money, I mean, we got enough, just enough to get 100 soldiers, right? But think about this. For years, 10, 15, 20 years, he's been feeding these people. But as soon as the money run out, the loyalty is gone. As soon as the money run out, I'm no longer dying for you, bro. I'm only here to shoot for you and die for you on the sense of I'm going to make some money that I can give to my family. If you ain't got no money for me, I'm really not locking in and going to war for you. It's the same thing with the hedge fund. If you don't have no deals and no value, and there's no relationship to be had. I don't care how cool y'all been over email. There's no relationship to be had if you're not bringing mutualistic value, meaning you're bringing deals to the table for them to benefit off of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I want you to think about it, right? Like, and think about it like this: when you're hitting that wall like that, that's the reason why everybody can't wholesale the hedge funds. In quotes, meaning that they don't have the mental fortitude to stick with. How many people you know gonna go for a year and a half to look for one buyer? It's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, not a lot, but like Ashley said, when you see that, you like, I've got to know who this is because they are buying ridiculously. I have to know because I know I can bring some value and add a few properties to that 40,000 that you have, right? So part of that stonewalling, how you work around that. It's not much that you can do, but stay consistent, right? So, and then certain hedge funds, they just have a certain way that they do business. Invitation Homes was purchased by one of Warren Buffett's bigger hedge funds. Invitation Homes is basically a subset of Warren Buffett's, what is it? Can't even think of the damn name.
I was just watching a video about his company, Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, so Invitation Homes was purchased by them back in 2012. Invitation Homes was one of the first big hedge funds to start purchasing houses when the market turned around after the recession, right? So they've been in pocket and in play, and they have a system, a strategy, and they got a ton of houses, right? So they can be picky with the way that they purchase. Quick tip, the newer the fund, the more open they are to purchasing and buying damn near anything that you offer, as long as it meets the certain criteria. The more established the fund is, the more picky they're going to be because they've already met the fund requirements for the partners who are in the pool of money that they're pulling from. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So another thing too to think about when you guys are looking for your hedge funds is there are small hedge funds and there are big hedge funds. There are levels to this, right? The smaller ones are going to be easier to get in contact with than it is the big ones. Invitation Homes is one of the bigger ones. They're one of the hardest ones to connect with, right? And like they said, when you spoke to the agent, right? So when you had that communication with the agent, what did the agent specifically say to you?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? The agent?
Yeah, like what did the agent say to you when you reached out to him? Okay, let's back up. You reached out to him and got in contact. How did you reach out? What was that initial intro message?
It was the same one we were sending out to everyone as far as seeing if they had an acquisitions area. Somehow, I forgot, Ashley got in contact with the agents, and then she found the agents, and then I got in contact with them. So when I contacted them, so I think I was already ready to just say, you know, are you willing to buy, or do you have any? I mean, do we have properties, and are you looking to buy? So
okay, so let's pause right there. I would switch up the way that you say that because everybody says that.
Mm-hmm.
What properties are you looking to buy? I know. I ain't saying y'all looking to buy, but it's a high probability y'all buying. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like.
And I want to be clear. We did use I'm paraphrasing very, very much. We used part of the script, so I do want you to know that it was part of that script that we used. And I don't remember that. So it was a paraphrase. I'm just paraphrasing from.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. What I would say is once Ashley has found it, and now you're at the point where you're making contact, especially when you're making contact to the real estate agent, that your first communication for you, that first communication includes a deal. There's a deal in that communication, right? I don't want to send an email and ask, are you, okay, what's your criteria? Mm-hmm. Okay, here goes something for you. Okay. I want to reverse that. Here goes something for you. Do you like it? Yes or no? Yeah, I like it. No, I don't like it. If they say no, perfect entry. Okay, great. What's your criteria? We have a few more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And you kind of reverse that. You see what I'm saying? And that's the way that I would get in with a specific agent or acquisition manager. They move off the money because they get paid on commissions.
Right.
So that first initial conversation, you have to say something that's gonna make them say, oh, let me respond to this real quick. This could be opportunity.
Gotcha.
Right? Because everybody's emailing and saying, are y'all buying, or what's your criteria? You never want to start the conversation with what's your criteria. You really want to start with value. Yeah. And y'all, that's the benefit of not just this course, but having any course that you get, being able to get the support. Because if we not having these conversations, you don't even know. Like, you just like, all right, I'm just gonna keep saying the same thing.
You don't know how to adjust.
You don't know how to adjust, right?
Yeah.
So remember, the course is giving you any course is giving you the ABC foundational outline. You need the support, and the reason why a lot of these courses come with coaching is for the situations, right? It's for the situations. It ain't for the you got the basics. Right. It's all in the course. But now when you start executing on it, and people are responding in different ways, like in different things are happening, you need to know, okay, well, what do I do in this sense?
That brings another question, because that was the one I had forgot earlier. It was regarding the emailing. When I email the reps, a lot of them sound like or not even emailing them, when I was talking to them, mainly talking, but when I was talking to someone, if they answered, I asked them about their acquisitions department, and almost the ones that I ran into sound like they either were not familiar with the acquisitions department, they didn't know about the acquisitions, or they would transfer me, but I think they were just transferring to wherever they thought I was thinking of, and I find out I'm in like residence area or wherever. So my question is that common? Are they not familiar with the acquisitions? Or
let me ask you, are the people who are saying this property management?
We do have a list of property management. I think that was the area I was.
Is that the type of person who's saying, I don't know about an acquisition or whatever, right? Yes. How I know, right? Okay, so, yes, that is very common when you're reaching out to the property management companies, right? Because the property management company doesn't have an acquisitions department, right? So that's not what you're looking to get from the property management company, because even though the management company is vertically integrated within the fund, meaning that this management company is specific for all of our properties, they don't got nothing to do with the acquiring of properties, right? So how you want to handle that is that conversation is more so, hey, I got a house I want to sell, right? Real simple. Like, I got a house I want to sell. Do y'all buy houses, or do you know of it? Do you have any clients that buy houses? Then it's like, oh yeah, we do. We work with such and such. Yeah, what do you have? Okay, I have this, I have that. Do you have somebody I can reach out to? Yeah, reach out to this particular person, right? And that's kind of how you get around the whole acquisitions department thing, because they really don't have that right now. What you will find, there was a situation where we reached out to, I think it was Havenbrook Homes. This is a while ago. Havenbrook Homes, I could be messing it up, but this particular fund, they were buying, but they had all the properties that they needed at the time. So they weren't buying, they were just managing, right? And they would say something along the lines of, well, we're not really buying right now because we have all the assets that we really need at this moment, but I'll take down your information. If we start buying again, I'll reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with people like that, put it on the calendar once a month to just submit a little property on the website, like just to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm not banking on you going to buy it, because you already told me you're not buying, but I just want to be in place for whenever you guys do start buying, I'm right here. And when you do start buying, you saw my name so many times, and it's like, when I send you something else, okay, yeah, let me see what's going on with this.
Yeah.
Right? Because all they do is sit in front of the computer all day and run numbers and make offers. That's literally all they do. Right? So the property management company, your approach is literally just, hey, I got a house I'm looking to sell. Do you guys buy houses as well? And if they say, no, we don't buy houses as well, okay, great. Do you have any clients that you know might be interested in purchasing? That acquisitions phrase is more so when you actually get in touch with the fund, and you might get in touch with like a rep or a secretary, or like somebody on the front end. That's when you're using that type of language, right? That's when that comes.
I think that's going to help a lot, because Stacey did more of the property management companies and talked to them. And I remember our conversation, like talking about how it was going. They were talking to her as if she was looking to acquire a house versus trying to like sell or like find somebody to sell a house to. So
yeah, exactly.
That'll definitely help.
Sometimes they lean on that because a lot of them are real estate agents and brokers. So they first thing they think, oh, you want to buy something? Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
But you gotta be clear, like, no, I have a house I want to sell. Like, You know what I'm saying? Boom. Now, another thing, and we kind of spoke about this before as well, big hedge funds versus small hedge funds, right? So this is another quick tip for you. I don't even remember if I have it in there or not, but this is something that you can do. Go on PropStream, right? And I want you to go to, I would suggest right now, maybe go to like Florida, like Jacksonville, Orlando. We kind of talked about our spaces, right? Go to a Florida market that we said that you guys were gonna be in, and PropStream. And I want you to look up the cash buyers for the last 12 months, but I want you to put in there the individuals who own 1,000 houses up to 10,000 houses. So minimum 1,000, maximum 10,000, right? This is your smaller hedge funds. They're going to be way easier to get in contact with. Take the mailing address and just Google the mailing address.
Okay.
Right? And once you do that, that's gonna get you into who the company is. Some of them actually have a main office. That is extra free game for those of y'all who are on here. Yeah, super free game. Google the mailing addresses, and that's gonna take you to what you see. So, for instance, let me show you, give you an example. Let's see. I'm gonna go here.
Would you ever go lower than 1,000? There was a point where we even jumped to like 500.
You can try 500 as well. If they're in that 500, I'm gonna tell you what I would suggest that you do if you go the 500 route.
Mm-hmm.
If you go 500 or more, I would suggest that you look at when's the latest sale that they had, the latest purchase, right? Because if they got 500, sometimes you might have a hedge fund or a smaller fund with 500 that have been buying for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, but have slowed down tremendously in the past year.
Okay.
Right? It's kind of depending on, because they might have ran out of money. Like there's a bunch of different things that go along with that. But I do think that 1,000 is going to give you the fund that is actually, damn, I'm gonna block my shit. I'm gonna read my phone. For the 5,000 is gonna actually give you the 500. Excuse me. That's going to give you the amount of like frequent buyers. You know how you got a frequent flyer, right? You got a bunch of miles. These is like frequent buyers. Like if they have like 2,000-3,000 properties, and then you filter it out, and they pass 0 months, 1, 2, 3 months, there's a lot of properties on there, right? That right there, that's going to be the thing that tells you, okay, they're still active and they're on a smaller scale. Most of the time, those smaller ones have a website as well, right? So for instance, when we went to last night, I actually did this last night, and this is why I want to show you. And I was looking at Macon in Augusta.
Do you want us to jump on PropStream?
Yeah, you go to PropStream. That's so far. Okay, so when I'm on PropStream, right, and I'm putting in a specific address, I'm putting in a specific area, right, and I want you to actually share your screen. Share your screen if you can.
What's that?
Who wants to do it?
Can you do it, Ashley? Are you available to?
Yeah, I think so. Let me get on PropStream.
While you're doing that, I just have a quick question. Is there a preference that they have over the larger one, or smaller versus the larger?
Larger or smaller? No, I like to have a good mix of both. I like the larger ones as well because they're just like unlimited. They're never stopping. They're always buying, right? But I like the smaller ones, especially for more tertiary, secondary markets, right? So for instance, put in there, let's go Augusta. I'm gonna give you an example of what I did last night. So I'm looking for buyers like around Augusta, Columbus, Macon area, kind of like in secondary markets in different places. So go to the cash buyers, filter down on property characteristics, residential.
Yep.
And I'm gonna keep the property types open.
Okay.
And and then come down off of there, go down to ownership info, click on corporate for owner type, and then, yep, minimum properties on 1,000, max 10,000. And then the last sale date right there.
Mm-hmm.
So for the last 12 months.
That's okay. You can watch that.
Do you off MLS or leave that alone?
Leave MLS alone.
Okay.
Now, click off. Now, yeah, go ahead. Click off that. Now, you got 111 that sold in the last 12 months. So click on the first one. Okay, so first thing I'm doing, go to link properties. 4,678. I like this energy, right? This is a good type. Now go to ownership length. Okay, so you already did it. You clicked on the top right there. So now you can see anything that doesn't have an ownership length on it, they just bought it, right? So you just keep scrolling down. You can see that means they purchased all these properties within the last 30 days. They've owned it for 0 months, right? Just scroll down, you can see that. Now, take that address, copy and paste it, and put it in Google. The address, the mailing address down by primary property. Yep. So that's the mailing address of the fund. We're gonna put that in Google. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm gonna go through a couple of the results because I want to see who this actually might be. So now the reason I'm not gonna go direct to the result is because I want to show you how I went through this. First thing I did is I clicked on the first one, Alden Property Group. I want to see who that is. Now, if you look at the website, you see you can get in touch. They got investments. Go up at the top, investment. Click on investment. Now you see overview, strategy, right? Acquisition criteria, all those things. Go click on acquisition criteria. And right here, I just want to see what are y'all buying. Alder is actively seeking to acquire core plus and value add properties primarily in the Northeast region. Then when you see property types, community and neighborhood retail centers are preferred. Multifamily and office properties are considered under compelling circumstances. We do not buy vacant land. Off top, I know this isn't the buyer matched to that address because that address is a single family home and they just said they don't buy those.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, that property is in Augusta, Georgia, and it's not in their region that they buy it. Right? So now I just go back. But before you move on, this goes to what Anastasia was saying the other day as well. Was Anastasia on here though? Yeah, she was on here the other day. This kind of goes to what she was saying as well, because remember she was asking about like the land buyers and stuff like that. There's different hedge funds who buy different things. This is still a fund. They just invest exclusively in commercial real estate, right? So if you was trying to get into commercial, this would be a fund you would reach out to.
Okay.
Right, so go back to Google. Now I'm just gonna scroll down again. Now OpenGov US, this is just a corporate owner website. I'm not gonna click on that because that's not giving you anything like, that's just like going to corporateowners.com or something like that, right? So just keep scrolling down. Open corporates, okay, boom. So now you see right here, you got Leisure Capital, right? So I might go ahead and click on Leisure Capital and see who this is. I'm going up to approach. I'm going to click on approach at the top. This is going to tell you what they're looking for. So what we're looking for, long-term opportunities to help long-term oriented organizations grow, higher education. They're talking about a bunch of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with single family homes or real estate, right? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm just going to go back. That's not them, right? Just scroll down a little bit more. Okay, cool. Now, if you scroll up, again, and come up here to, keep going. Okay, cool, stop. Now, you see SFR3 Brokerage LLC. It's on OpenGov, the next one, the one down below.
Oh, this one.
So, yeah, it's on OpenGov, but that's like a full name. I want to click on that. I just want to see, right? Okay, boom. So if you go down SFR Brokerage, they're at a Park Avenue. If you look at the actual suite 73833, see if that matches the mailing address on Podio. on Prop Street.
I gotta move you guys. Let's see. Oops. Upstream.
Yep. 73833. Okay, boom. Now go back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take SFR3 Brokerage LLC because that seems to be the name. Right? And now I'm going to Google that. This is all the search, all the digging.
Detectives.
Yep. Boom. First result. What does it say? SFR3, Affordable Homes for America. That looked like a website. Even on a little preview, thousands of single-family rentals from Columbia to Cincinnati. Click on that. See what I'm saying? Right at the top, sell us your home.
Yeah.
I just want to click on it. Now I'm clicking on it. I just want to see what they say. You buy houses for cash in the South and Midwest. Submit your listings off-market deals for cash off. Now, this particular company owns 4,600 properties. They are a hedge fund. And then you just scroll down. They tell you we work with wholesale. It says right there, boom, wholesale. Submit your properties, all types of deals. Welcome, property manager. Everything is there for you. And that's a hedge fund. Right? So what I would do is I would just put if you got a deal on the contract, put the address in. Right? Just put it in there and just see what they say.
Like the one you gave us?
Yeah, like you can put that in there and check the address.
34.
Yeah, put on the video on that. See if they'll make an offer on that.
You want to know what I think is crazy too? Like, it took you. I mean, obviously you're good at. Huh? Right. I was gonna say, like, obviously you know the flow of this, right? And now we're able to like get this property with no issue. We understand what to do because you're coaching us through it. But I think what's also like super amazing on the website, you showed us like it broke down like, hey, if you're a wholesaler, if you're an agent, if you're a property manager, but it also tells you if you are a wholesaler, it lets you know like, because on the property management one, it said like, yes, we do buy homes with occupied tenants. So if I'm a wholesaler and I got a tenant type of I'm not worried about that, right? So like, pay attention to the websites. What you just showed me right now is that if you can get to the website, that's the first step in understanding everything that they do. And then the next step is just getting content.
There's not one that doesn't have a website. They all got a website.
So they said they interested. Now, okay, so let's say you have a situation like this, right? Is it okay to just go off of this right here and put the deals in and then wait for one of them to get in contact? Or should we still be proactively trying to find someone to talk to, even though it seems like they are, using the just send us your deal, we'll get back to you type of thing?
That's a great question. I do both. So once I submit it, then I'm calling. I'm not now if they have a place I can submit it online, I'm gonna do that first, and then I'm gonna call. And when I call, now the conversation is, hey, I submitted a deal on your website. I was just seeing, if you guys got it, what's your thoughts on it, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying?
Got it. Okay.
Because now the conversation, it goes from, okay, let's say if you are at a car dealership, you want to buy a car. Mm-hmm. The sales rep treats you different when you're shopping around than when you're ready to buy. They treat you different. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So when you're calling a fund, they're going to treat you different if you're just seeing if they buy or if you have something to sell.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Right? So on here, you will put in the info on this particular one. And, where it says what's your relationship to the house, you can even say right there, it tells you I'm a wholesale third party, not direct to seller. Or I am direct to seller. Or I'm a realtor. Or I'm an agent. I'm the owner. It's all right there. Right? It gives you all the information. So when you do that, then I'm going to call their actual number on the website, and I'm going to start working my way through all the individuals who I need to talk to. They're telling you, right, look, boom, all the rules right here. Even the buy box is on the website. They can occupy 60,000 to 350, 2-bed, 1-bath. They do double closings. Where are they buying at? They can close in as little as 7 days, right? It's a quick buyer right here, right? Are you a brokerage? No. They're an investment fund. All right. If you got turnkey property, will you buy it? No. We add value through renovation. So you don't want to send them nothing that's already renovated. They want stuff that they can rehab themselves. And they even tell you once you submit an address above, one of our market directors will be in touch within 24 hours. Now, I submitted a deal to them last night. Mind you, It took me like maybe 10 minutes last night to kind of get to them. I submitted a deal to them last night. They responded to me this morning. And when I say last night, it was after hours. It was like maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. They responded back to me this morning and they said, we won't be submitting an offer on this property I had in Douglasville. Unfortunately, we're unable to make an offer on the home because it does not fit the standard buy-box parameters. And then they'll tell you why it's a no buy.
Oh, that's nice.
That's like a wet dream nowadays in this market, bro. What? The buyer tell you why do they like it? Ooh.
I'm about to show you real quick. Let me share my screen real quick. Actually, let me show you.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I like this one too, right, is because they are they're buying in areas that most buyers don't want to necessarily have to deal with right now, right? Alabama, Macon, those smaller markets that are big, and that's the so here's a hit clue for all those who are maybe diving into the investment side as far as a fix and flipper. Follow the data, right? Like these companies pay. I spoke with a gentleman today. He's literally a data scientist. Blew my mind. I was like in geek mode for like a whole hour, right?
That's how I was when I made my first data scientist. I'm like,
bro, I was like, wow, like, you're a genius. Like it's weird, right? And these companies hire like thousands of them, right? And they do all this work and then they take that data and that's the deciding factor of where they go buy properties. So if you want, right, if you balling, if you're on the K dot level, you can get yourself a data scientist and work some things out in your business. And if you're not, don't let that be an excuse. Pay attention to where the larger companies that are hiring these people, where are they buying? That's where you should be doing deals. If you're telling me like, yo, Atlanta's tough, it sucks, I can't get a deal, blah, 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 where's the big dogs? Because these guys were still buying. How many did they buy in the last less than 30 days? A lot, right? We just kept scrolling. So if they're buying that many in that particular area, I need to mosey my beep on over and find properties in that area, and that's where I should be sending deals to. Don't make it harder, right? Just keep it simple.
Definitely don't make it harder. So like look at this right here. So I'm gonna show y'all real quick so that you can see how efficient that this buyer is. So can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so look at the email. They said they sent this shit at 11:42 p.m. Now, how wild is that? Way after hours, right? And they send it with the reasoning. So, hey, thanks for submitting the property. Unfortunately, we're unable to make an offer on the home because it don't fit the standard buy box. Open this up a little bit. We're sorry to miss this opportunity. We look forward to working on you with the next one. Reason for no offer: property isn't in a region where we're currently buying.
Okay? And look, now, I'm here live with the team, with K-Dot, right? So and we're going over it, man. He's actually showing us what these hedge funds are looking for, right? Where they're looking for it live in today's market. If you're not watching this right now, you're missing out. Go join us. I'm on YouTube, on Facebook. Come get this game so you can know exactly where you should be spending your time, where you should be focusing on, and exactly how you're going to win in this new market.
Renovation budget $60K. Lower is preferred. Don't buy homes that is too close to the railroad tracks. Share a border with streets with 4+ lanes. No exposure to commercial. Nothing in the floodplain. Nothing with major power lines in the yard. Right? And no house with unique features that will make the home difficult to rent at top of market price. That means they don't want all the extra stuff. They want base level properties, regular stuff that they can actually rent out. You see what I'm saying? So this particular fund, and I know, for instance, now mind you, I sent them a property in Douglasville, but I found them in Augusta. I didn't know if they was buying in Douglasville or not, but what I do know that they buying at is Augusta. I do know that they buying in Macon. I do know that they buying in Columbus. Which is these secondary markets. So what you think I'm about to do? I'm about to do a whole campaign, and I'm literally setting up a marketing campaign specific to sell deals to this fund because they are active as hell. They're super quick with responses. They even respond after hours, right? And now I'm going to these tertiary markets, making Augusta, Columbus. I'm just pulling data to meet it, and I'm talking to sellers. I know they want to be all in 70%. They want to be 70% of the ARV roughly, right? So when I'm making my offers, I'm trying to be 60 cents, 65 cents on the dollar. If you go in and you run your numbers at 65 cents on the dollar to be all in, you literally are automatically creating 5% of the value of the home in profit just by being all in 65 cents on the dollar, because you can sell it at 70 cents on the dollar. Now, mind you, this is Macon, Augusta, and Columbus. This is not Metro Atlanta. So it's easier to get a deal at 65 cents on the dollar. You ain't going to be like, it's mad hard to get a deal all in 65% ARV in Mosley Park or West End, or, you know what I'm saying? But we talking about secondary / tertiary markets. That secondary market outside of your main metro area. This is what we're talking about. And in those areas, it's easier to get cheaper deals. And now you got a buyer right here. You can just submit them joints, right? And boom, you're in the game. Now, if you meet some new wholesalers who are in these markets, how can you benefit them? Hey, I got a buyer. Let's JV. You just started. You don't got no buyers. Like, send me over everything you got in Macon, everything you got in Augusta, everything you got in Columbus, and let's JV. That's the fastest way to get to the money. When I tell you guys, and I have my moments in the game where we down, and like that deal flow ain't looking the same as it was a month ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, JV is the quickest way to bounce back and get your paper up. The quickest way. You can wake up on a Monday with nothing, and by Friday, you got $10,000, $15,000 secured coming in the next Friday.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, just for making some calls and pushing some emails off of your phone on your computer.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad you brought that up. Sitting after hours, I wanted to ask you because a lot of the time, like during the day, hours just go by really fast. Is there an appropriate time where you should stop sending emails, or is it okay just to kind of send them?
That's a good question. With our team, we prefer, so like for instance, last night, I told Grant, I was like, me and Grant was talking about a property that we got, and it was around 6:30. And Grant was like, I'm gonna send it over in the morning, right? It makes sense because at 6:30 they're gone. They're not gonna see it. I'd rather send it when they can see it right there in the morning time. I want it to be fresh. I personally would say if you're sending new properties, this is only for new deals. If you're sending new deals, you want to send them before 3 o'clock of that business day.
Okay.
Right? If you're just working on deals, you can email them, whenever. You know what I'm saying? If you're like already in process. But for that first initial deal to send it, you want everything to go in anywhere between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
All right, that's good.
Man, this has been rocking. We've been on for an hour. I know this isn't our normal time. We typically do it at 2, but we both had appointments to close the bag, get to the bag today. So we have to pivot. We have to move it, right? And that's what entrepreneurs do. If you didn't get a chance to catch this live, that sucks. But we got this recorded. Definitely go to the Facebook page, Wholesaling to Hedge Funds. Go to the YouTube, type in my name, type in Kendall. You'll be able to find it and be able to catch up and continue as we go through this progress. Kendall, do you have anything that you wanted to add before we go?
So, basically, y'all, just stay tuned with what we're doing. We having another master class coming up here in about 2 weeks on January 24th. So if you guys want to tap into that, feel free to go ahead and register for it.
Mm-hmm. But before the master class, we do got something else coming on. Should we let them know now, or you want to wait? We should probably wait. What do you think? Let's let them wait. Let them wait.
No, we doing it. You know what
we should. We are going back. Like, this is happening. This case study that we're doing with my team, Kendall is doing here. That's every Friday, right? So we will be back next Friday. Kendall's about to give us what our homework is, and we'll go to work. Come back with no excuses, just answers or questions to be able to show progression. And then we definitely do got something special. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms so you can keep up to date when we got some stuff going on. And you definitely don't want to miss the master class. If this is your first time or you don't have the course, the master class is really going to give you what you need to kind of put you on that playing field so you can get right. And I really want to make sure we're making this clear to everybody. Like right now, the market is not dead. Okay, the market is in reset. And what do you do in reset mode? What do you do when it's basically started over? So this is when you stretch. This is when you kind of learn who else is going to be racing with you. This is when you kind of like, this is when you get it all together. Please do not wait to the end of Q1 and now you see everybody else really flying off the wall and really getting things popping and deals are starting to move and we're back at that 5, 6, 7, 8 a month type of vibe. And now you're like, all right, bet, let me get in here. Now you got to go do 2, 3 months worth of reaching out to hedge funds. And guess what? They busy because we sending them hella deals right now, right? So
I gotta say, bro, listen, I ain't no Miss Cleo type of thing, like where I'm about to like tell the future, but I'm telling you, just based off the conversations we have with our funds, based upon what we're seeing in the market,
it's coming.
hedge funds are going to be very, very strong start of Q2.
Yep.
April 1st, soon as that spring hit, I'm telling you, they are going to be active. They still active now. And see, this is the thing I just want people to realize. Hedge funds started to get a connotation that this is where you go to and they're going to pay retail and more than retail. That's not the case. They were just treating the market how everybody else was treating the market. You had traditional buyers paying over retail price. Everybody was paying the high, right? But before, I can remember less than 2 years ago when prices were just regular.
Yeah.
It wasn't like all completely over, you know what I'm saying? Like everything was just standard. It was regular pricing. The hedge funds are always going to pay more than the regular guys, but it's just a way to disposition certain types of deals. Just look at it like that. You want to make sure that you guys are in position, getting those relationships ready. But I'm telling you, by the time, look, they're going to be doing deals for hedge funds. They're probably going to have their first deal ready, like for a hedge fund. I would see y'all doing your first hedge fund deal. If y'all can lock one down, like this week coming up, I want a heavy focus for you guys on getting into an acquisition manager email box, having a conversation with an acquisition manager and getting your first buy box this week, right? That's what we want to focus on, getting your first buy box this week. Because once you get your first buy box, your first deal is right around the corner. It really is. Because at that point, the hard work is done. All the hard work is getting the fund, getting the buy box, and finding out what they want. Once you've done that and you have a deal, then you submit it. There's a second level of hard work that comes with getting them to like see your email in the deal. Once you do a deal and you accept the offer, it's a wrap. You're in the game. You're no longer gonna have it. They're not gonna ignore you. If they're ignoring you, they're ignoring everybody. It's nothing personal at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so. That's the first step for you guys. Let's lock in this week. Let's get an acquisition manager and a buy box. The goal for next Friday is to come back on here like, we got our first buy box. We ready to go.
All right, team, can we do it?
You can do it.
All right.
I do have a question though. Do you advise that we like keep finding hedge funds or kind of focus on the ones we have and just keep emailing them? I mean, I know we gotta kind of
keep finding. Yeah, you keep looking because it's a numbers game. It's still a numbers game at the end of the day, right? Now, let's say if you keep looking and you end up with 5 or 6, great for you. You know what I'm saying? But you want to keep looking, and the whole point of it is that you reach now. You got 20. Let's say you got an active pipeline of 20 hedge funds, right? Out of them 20, you should be able to get 3 or 4 to really lock in with you and connect with you and give you something to work with. You see what I'm saying? So that's really the goal. And remember, guys, at the end of the day, remember I always say, people, well, how many hedge funds you got? We got about 15 hedge funds, but we only work with consistently about 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need a lot. When I first started, I had 1 hedge fund, and I was killing it with 1. You feel what I'm saying? So you don't need 5, 6 of them. You just need really 2 to 3 is the goal. 1 you can always start with, and that's all you need. And once y'all get 2 or 3, you're gonna have you gonna just ride the wave. Just ride the wave.
But with that said, we do know that we have some based off your confirmation too. So that's what I'm saying. We can just focus on like heavily trying.
Oh yeah, I definitely suggest having the ones that you know that are, and that you already started that process. Heavy focus on trying to get that contact. Like heavy focus on that, right?
Okay.
While one of you are doing that, the other one we searching, we still digging. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, that's it. We're just gonna start there. Because once we do that, then I'm gonna give you guys the strategy to where you can go take these hedge fund, these buy boxes, and then you can use this and you can start building relationships and JV and deals all over in every market that they're in. You know what I'm saying? And setting up your JV process.
And
right?
do you have anything that's similar to like wholesaling when you're like speaking to somebody so many days? Well, we do the same thing with hedge because I mean we can email them every day or you give them a day or two. So some are responding, but like I said, they don't really know. It's almost, well, I was dealing with management property. So if we do actually talk to someone, what do you suggest in that sense? I'm saying, how often?
She's talking about like a follow-up sequence.
Yeah, follow-up sequence. Honestly, I'm a little different. I mean, I'm there every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I might even hit you twice in a day if it's that urgent to me. Like, if I feel like it's really that urgent, like if I sent you something at 9 a.m., I might follow up at 3, like, hey, just checking to see if you got that email about that deal. You see what I'm saying? Like, because they get a ton of emails. It's very viable for you to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Right.
And like very viable if you get lost in the sauce. So yeah, definitely you want to do that. And then what I would like to say real quick before we get out of here, because I do got another call and I need to go to this showing. Did you guys get the Slack invite? Okay. So what I would like for you guys to do, when you get a second, drop some screenshots, and you safe in that's the private community, so everybody ain't gonna see this. What we talking about? Drop some screenshots of your last communication with the funds, like where you're at in your communication stage with the ones that you know are funds, and the ones where it's like we damn near there to get in through. Like, show me just the last communication, so I can tell you guys exactly what you need to do next to try to trigger some type of response or to get what you need to get off that next email that they send out.
Okay.
Right. So just drop those screenshots to me for those people, and then we'll get to that today. And Grant is in there as well. So when you drop the screenshots in there, I'll just tell them to give you guys some pointers on what you should say next to be able to get them reeled in.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. And if y'all can pull that off before 2:00. I can have them respond so y'all can send these messages out before 3 and see if y'all can get somebody to respond before the day is over.
Okay.
Done.
Stacey, are you in the Slack group?
That I don't know.
You should be. If not, we'll double check it offline. But I did give your email in, so check the
If it's links in Slack, yeah, I can ask you later.
Yeah.
The business email.
All right, cool.
Went to that.
Let's get it.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it as always. Super excited for what we got coming together and how the thing is moving. It's gonna be big, man. People are gonna go back and see these original videos that we have here, and they're gonna be like, wow, like they really did exactly what they said they was gonna do, and now I can follow the steps. But nothing beats having a coach, a mentor, right? We didn't set goals to make this happen. We were intent on what result we wanted. We find someone who understood that and has a system, and we're adapting his system. Super important. And that system is laid out all throughout in the course. So if you want to really be able to dive in and have a deep connection with Kendall, reach out, connect. Again, I'll put his information here in the chat so you guys can do so. You guys know how to get a hold of me. You know my amazing, beautiful team. With that being said, peace, love, and happiness. Go make it happen. Stay charged up.